it's Kat, and today I'm going to show you how to make a card using our new fabulous Paintdrop Posies stamps and masks. In this set you will get these lovely stamps and a coordinating mask, and I'm going to show you how we use them together to make a card today. So to start off with, I'm going to take a piece of white Ink Me cardstock and I'm going to cut this down to 8.5 inches by 6.5 inches to fit nicely on our stamping press. And this is a bigger piece of card than we're actually going to use, but it gives us room to stick it down and be able to place our mat and stamp on top. So with your Ink Me down on your stamping press, you have got your magnets to help you secure it down, but because we're going to be doing inking today, I'm going to take my masking tape for that little bit of extra security. I'm just going to place this either side of my paper. Then you want to make sure that you get your mask and your stamp working together. So with your stamp, with the embossed side of your stamp facing down, we place that on top of our mask. We find which way it goes, so we just needed to turn that round. So we know this is the position we want our mask in, so now we can also put this in place. So I'm just going to take a little bit more masking tape to secure this down. Now if you want, you could put your stamp back on there now and pick it up with the lid of your stamping press, or you can do that after once you've got your stamped image. It's completely up to you. So we've got this, so now what I'm going to do is use our inks to colour our background. So the colours I'm going to be using for this, I've got Flamingo Paradise, Apricot Sorbet and Canary Yellow, and these are going to echo the colours that I'm going to do in the flowers later, and I'm going to use these to create an ombre background. You can of course just do it one solid colour, but I'm doing it this way for a bit of solid interest. So I'm taking my Canary Yellow on my blendy tool and I'm just going to press in the middle, and I'm going to take the yellow just round the edges, blend it down slightly all the way across. If you need to help your mask, just press it down just while you take it over. Go around the top. And make sure that you're doing enough so you can blend your other colours into it to give it that lovely ombre effect. So I'm now going to change my sponge and we're going to go in with the Apricot Sorbet. And now we're going to work out from the edges of our yellow, blending it slightly over and more towards the outsides. If you're going over the edge of the mask, that's absolutely fine, because we're going to be cutting away these bits later to fit it onto our card. So just hold your mask in place as you go along. And we just keep working our way around, building up that colour. And I'm just leaving the very edges and the corners to do in our third and final colour, which is our Flamingo Paradise. And we're just going to concentrate on the corners and the outer edges with this colour. along the bottom edge where we've got a bigger gap between where our stamped image is going to be and the bottom of the card. And then up round the other side and finishing with the top corner. Now we can carefully lift away our mask, and you're left with this beautiful background ready to add our stamp detail to. So now all you have to do is place your stamp into the negative space that you can see that you've left behind. You can see through, it's a clear stamp, so you can line it up perfectly. So just pop that in place and then go back over with the top part of your stamping press, and we pick that image, this stamp up. Give it a good firm press all over. And now I'm going to take our black first fine and we're going to cover this all over. Nice strong black coating to really make those colours pop. And we place this back on top, and we know because we've lined it up it's going to stamp beautifully into that negative space we've created using our mask. To give this a really good press over. Take that away and you can see how it has filled that gap absolutely beautifully. So now I'm going to take off my main stamp and we are going to get onto the next really fun element of this stamp set. Along with this stamp set, we also have these block stamps that are going to colour your flowers in absolutely beautifully. So I'm going to start with the biggest one here. And again, you can just place this over, line it up and place it over your stamp. Just work your way around till you find where it's meant to go. When you're happy with where it sits, back in with the lid of your stamping press, pick it up, then add your colour that you choose to use for your stamp. For this one I am going to use the Flamingo Paradise. And I'm going to give this a nice press all over. Pop this on and you get this wonderful instant colouring effect. Good press down, lift it up and it colours that in absolutely perfect for you. So now I'm going to remove this one and we're going to go with our next size up, which is this one here. So we'll take it off the sheet and again we're going to line this onto our image. When we're happy with the placement, back in with your block, pick it up and colour it. Now for this one I'm going to use the apricot sorbet. I'm going to give it a nice coverage all over. Ooh, wrong way round. There we go. Pop this down. Lift it up. And then because I want to use my apricot sorbet again on these little flowers at the back, I want to make the depth of this colour slightly darker. So what the beauty of this is that I can just go again, add more ink to my stamp, re-stamp it just to build up that depth of colour. And then when I do the little flowers later, in just one layer of the ink, you'll be able to see the difference. So let's remove this one and we'll work round on we'll bring on the little flower just so I can show you. So these are the little buds at the top here. So again, we're just going to layer this up. happy with the placement. Stamping lid, pick it up. And again, the apricot sorbet, but I'm just going to go in with a lighter touch so I get a different density to the colour. And then you can see how this shade is lighter than this shade here. Now I would repeat this with the other two flowers, but I will show you that in a finished sample at the moment. For this one, I'm going to move on to these little ones here. So again, we've got the matching block stamp here. And we are going to do this one down at the bottom. And these have been so cleverly designed that the flowers do multiple flowers on each block. The same with the leaves, they can be used, you just need to twist them and turn them in a different direction. And they will do both sets of leaves, so you're not needing multiples of the stamps. So we'll pop that down there. We've got that lovely yellow coming through. So now I'm going to move on to the leaves for you. And the same again, just peel that off, place it on top, the leaves to the side. And then I'm going to go in with apple green. Down, and then just to add some depth to my leaves, I'm going to take the rainforest green and just very lightly tap this over the top, just to add a little bit more depth and texture to the effect of the stamp. And there we go, and you would do exactly the same to finish all the other elements off. And then you would end up with something that looks like this. So I'm going to replace this one on my block now. So I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to measure myself a black mat to do this by. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this up at two edges with a nice little gap that will light around the sides, and I'm just going to mark on the opposite corners where I want that even border to cut. And we trim this down. And that should give me a nice mat for my card. But before I stick it down, I'm going to put this back onto my stamping block for one last time. I'm going to use my magnets to secure it in place, and we're going to add a sentiment off the sheet. So I think for this one we will use just a note to say hello. I'm going to pop these down into the bottom right hand corner, placing them face down like we've done with all our other stamps. Use the lid to pick them up. A little bit more of our VersaFine. Stamp that down. And it just gives it that finishing touch. So we can take a stamping press out of the way. We use our construction glue to add this to our layer. pop that down there. Then I'm going to take an 8" by 8" card blank, and we'll just sit this across the centre. And there we have it. That's how to use our new Paintdrop Posies to make a card.